You are not falling apart. Your brain is just recalibrating, and it can feel like total chaos before it finally feels like clarity. So let's talk about the midlife crisis no one warned you about, because it's not really a crisis, it's really your neurobiology. If you're a woman between 40 and 60 and you've quietly wondered, why can't I think clearly? Why am I so irritable? Why do small things feel huge? Why do I lose my patience instantly? Or why does my sleep feel broken? Or why do I just not feel like myself? Or why does my spark feel dim? Let me tell you the truth you've never been given. You're not moody and you are not losing your edge. You're not aging poorly. Your brain is not deteriorating. You're in a massive neurological transition that is driven by hormonal shifts, by cognitive overload, by emotional labor, burnout, accumulated stress, and decades of putting yourself last. Sleep disruption, sensory overload, identity transformation. This is not psychological. This is a structural, hormonal, metabolic, and neurologic event. And today we're going to explain why midlife women feel so overwhelmed, why your patience, your memory, and your bandwidth change, why rage episodes happen, why stress hits differently, why sleep collapses, why emotional regulation becomes harder, why your brain feels tired, and how TMS can help restore regulation, clarity, stability, and actual joy. So let's start with the most important truth. Midlife isn't about falling apart, it's actually rewiring. And rewiring feels like instability before it feels like power. So, what's happening inside the brain of a midlife woman? Three major systems start to shift simultaneously, and it all comes together in this perfect storm. The first is hormonal regulation circuits. So, estrogen and progesterone influence serotonin, dopamine, acetylcholine, cortisol, sleep rhythms, thermoregulation, memory circuits, emotional perception, and pain perception. So, when your hormones start to fluctuate, you feel irritable, anxious, mood swings, brain fog, fatigue, night sweats, palpitations, and insomnia. And this isn't just PMS times 10, this is neurochemical. The next thing that happens is you have cognitive load plus burnout circuits. So, midlife women carry more invisible labor than any demographic. We have aging parents, teenagers, careers, finances, households, marriages, relationships, and emotional management of everybody around you. So, your prefrontal cortex, the rational, organized part of your brain, gets overloaded and fatigued. And this makes you forgetful, overwhelmed, gives you task paralysis, decreased motivation, and reduced focus. So you're not just distressed, you're just maxed out. And then the third thing is your emotional regulation circuits. The limbic center, the emotional center of your brain, changes when estrogen drops. So your frustration rises really fast, your stress tolerance, your emotional activity increases. Tears may come unexpectedly. And these reactions are not personality flaws, they are physiologic reflexes from a highly dysregulated nervous system. So let's talk about how your bandwidth collapses and why tiny things start to feel huge. So women in midlife often tell me, I used to handle everything, and now the smallest thing just sets me off. And this isn't weakness. This is the bandwidth collapse, a known neurologic phenomenon where that prefrontal cortex is tired, where the amygdala, our stress response center, is overactive, where sleep becomes fragmented, where cortisol is irregular, and emotional labor exceeds our capacity. So, this creates irritability, overwhelming thoughts, quick exhaustion, and the feeling that you're just done by 3 p.m. Your nervous system is fully overloaded, so your reactions make sense. So, let's look at the brain fog. This is the symptom that scares everyone. Brain fog is not dementia, it's not cognitive decline, and it's not just getting old. What it is, estrogen fluctuations plus sleep disruption plus prefrontal fatigue. And it looks like losing some words, forgetting why you walked into a room, trouble focusing, zoning out, feeling mentally slow. But this is reversible, and it's not the beginning of a decline. It's a metabolic and hormonal state, not a destiny. So let's take a look also now at the midlife rage that nobody warns women about. This moment, something tiny happens, spilled coffee, a loud noise, a thoughtless comment, and suddenly you are furious. Your heart pounds, your chest tightens, you snap, you regret it instantly. This is not being emotional. This is the result of poor sleep, limbic hyperactivation, estrogen withdrawal, cortisol surges, sensory overload, and chronic stress. Your nervous system is overloaded and firing too fast. This is a neurologic response. It's not a moral failing. So let's talk about sleep collapse next. Why nights become impossible. Midlife women commonly experience difficulty falling asleep, waking up between 2 and 4 a.m., night sweats, racing thoughts, light, unrestful sleep, and early morning awakenings. And this happens because estrogen regulates your sleep depth. Cortisol spikes come at the wrong time. The prefrontal cortex stays alert. The amygdala is constantly scanning for threats. Thermoregulation shifts, and then your circadian rhythms flatten. You're not bad at sleep. It's just that your sleep circuits need better support. The identity of midlife is not just about biology, it's about so much more that's happening. You've got your kids growing up, your parents aging, marriages evolving, careers shifting, friendships changing, the loss of old roles, and the emergence of new ones. So women often ask, who am I now? What matters to me? And what do I do next with my life? So you also have your identity recalibrating at this time, and your brain's trying to keep up. And that's a lot. And this isn't really a crisis, it's more of a renaissance in disguise. So, why is TMS transformative for midlife brain function? TMS supports those exact circuits that are collapsing during midlife, and really so many of them. So, it strengthens the prefrontal cortex, and this improves clarity, reduces that brain fog, improves decision making, increases resilience, and reduces the overwhelm. It also calms the amygdala, that threat response center, so you get fewer rage episodes, less anxiety, fewer emotional spikes, and increased stress tolerance. It also improves your sleep regulation. So you get deeper sleep, fewer 2 a.m. awakenings, and balanced cortisol. And then it also restores your dopamine and serotonin balance. And that improves your mood, increases motivation, and restores joy. It also increases neuroplasticity. It enhances adaptability, supports identity transitions, and it accelerates your emotional recalibration. It really gives women their bandwidth back. And a lot of women after TMS often say to me, I finally feel like myself again. I can think clearly. I'm not constantly irritable. And my patience came back, or I'm sleeping again. I feel stable. And the best is I feel powerful. And this is not a placebo. This is neural repair. So, what does healing look like for midlife women? Healing is feeling steady, thinking clearly, being patient again, not snapping instantly, feeling joy instead of numbness, remembering your words, regulating your emotions, tolerating stress, breathing deeply, connecting to yourself, and feeling alive, creative, sensual, and confident. Healing is not becoming your younger self, it's becoming the most powerful, emotionally regulated version of who you are right now. So here's a message I want every woman in midlife to hear. You're not too much. You're not too emotional. You're definitely not losing your mind. You're not falling behind. And you're not your family or yourself. You are not meant to carry the physical load, the emotional load, the cognitive load, the invisible load without support. It's just that your nervous system is completely overwhelmed, your biology is shifting, and your identity is expanding. And all of this is treatable. You deserve clarity, you deserve rest, and you deserve regulation. You definitely deserve support. And you definitely, most definitely deserve to feel like you again. If all of this felt like someone finally put words to what you've been living, if you're tired of feeling foggy, irritable, overwhelmed, or unlike yourself, if you want clarity, patience, spark, and steadiness back in your life, you don't have to suffer through this transition. Start a conversation with us. Tell me what's been happening in your mind and body. And let's support your nervous system, restore your clarity, and help you feel like you again with even more power than ever. Midlife is not an ending, it's really the beginning of your most neurologically powerful, and we can help your brain rise to the occasion to meet it.